Hello.
Hi, hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Can you see and hear me okay?
I can. Can you see and hear me?
I can. Thank you for making the time. You look lovely, by the way.
Thank you.
How are you? How's everything? Are you well?
I'm good. I'm good. What about you?
I'm good, thank you. I know you've been busy this FYC season, but I wanted to squeeze you in because you are so good. I mean, I followed your whole career, Carrie. I'm such a fan of everything. But like, it's so good to see Elsbeth. But if I may, for the first question I have for you, you played this for 3 seasons so far on CBS, of
Yeah.
course. But you've been playing this for like more than a decade, actually, between The Good
Yeah.
Wife and The Good Fight before this.
Yeah.
What's the biggest joy for you, Carrie, as a creative, to get to explore more and more of her world as time goes on?
I know. It's just incredible because you do a guest spot. You don't think you're going to be able to play the character more than one episode or, maybe at the most two. And it just kept, building and they kept asking me back. But like a year would go by or more
Yeah,
between each appearance.
sure.
And, of course, on those shows, the tone is different. Like those shows, that was a drama. I was coming in to sort of bring a little bit of, quirky levity to the proceedings and then get back out.
Sure.
I was definitely just there to support. And so to be in the center of a show now where it's I'm not the support, I'm the center
Yeah.
is it allows me to kind of learn more about the character. It allows the character to deepen. It allows me to find more colors than what I was doing before, and just learning about the character from episode to episode. Like I never would have thought I would learn what she's like as a mother,
Mhm.
or as a best friend, even
Mhm.
somebody who's a fish out of water, who's learning a new job. Like all those things
Yes.
have really kind of helped me understand the character a little better. Sometimes I worry, I think, am I still the same character
But
that
people get
I
to evolve. People get to
people get
evolve.
to evolve? And yeah, my answer to that, like what you were just saying, is that, well, I'm not the same person as I was whatever 16 years ago. So neither is Elspeth, so
Mhm.
I just kind of allow that to be. And also the writing is very, different. So
Sure, absolutely. It's so good though. The writing's so good and you guys perform it so well. So it's great.
thank, thank you. It's a great, brilliant group of writers led by John Tollins, our showrunner. And I couldn't ask for a better person to helm the show and writers to flesh it out.
I love to hear that. But this airs on CBS, as you know, Carrie.
Yeah,
We live in a time with video streaming. Mind you, of course, you can watch this also on Paramount Plus, which is great.
sure.
But what does
Yeah.
it mean to you, maybe as a creative and as an actor, producer, to still be leading primetime television in
Yeah.
2026 when video streaming is the fad?
I know. And I grew up watching the three networks. I love network TV. And, it was always something that I considered a high honor if I got cast in a network TV show. And then streaming became, certainly for our industry, the kind of the bar, of like high quality,
Yeah,
television. But they do 8 episodes, we do 20. It's like a different thing. And so when you can make something that is incredibly fun to watch, incredibly smartly written, and do that 20 times a season, to me that is a mark of a great show. And I feel like we are certainly endeavoring to do that every week, and that makes me really proud. And also the irony is that network TV is sort of like getting a resurgence right now. People are finding their way back to network, and I feel extremely lucky and grateful that it happened to line up when at a time when this show is being put out there and shared,
yes,
and that I think this show wouldn't be watched as much on streaming,
fair.
because there's
Yeah.
just so many, other things to pick from. Whereas CBS curates exactly what they want, and they know how to funnel an audience to it.
Yeah.
And so we have an extraordinary amount of people who come to our show, way more than I think some of the streamers. So
Absolutely.
it's just fascinating to me. And
Absolutely. But
and our audience is very diverse, because we have, people watch it with their children. The LGBTQ community loves it.
yep.
Older people love it. Like it's everybody watches it with their mother, no matter what age you are. My mother loves your show is
Yes.
the number one comment that I get. And that can be from anyone who's age 10 to age, 60.
Yes. But you bring up the LGBTQ community. I'm a fan, yes, yes, yes. But
Yeah.
also it comes with your costumes that you get to wear that
Yeah.
makes Elsbeth who she is. So can you kind of speak to the unsung heroes on a lot of these productions, including Elsbeth to an extent, that do such amazing work behind the scenes that we never even hear heard, but they make such a huge difference in the
Yeah.
actual outcome?
Yes. And I love it that Dan Lawson, who is our costume designer, is getting such attention
Hmm.
for his work because it is easy to just become invisible as a costume designer,
Sure.
especially when you're doing that volume of work. Um, Dan has been costuming Elsbeth since day one. He was the costume designer for The Good Wife, The Good Fight, Evil, Cupertino, Elsbeth, every show that Robert and
She
Michelle
he knows
does.
her. He knows her.
And he understands the character, but he also understands what's so great about Dan. He also understands the actor who's playing the character. So he will work with me if I say, yeah, I'm going to crawl around on the floor because, I'm always looking for, Elsbeth is always expressing herself
Mhm.
with her body. And, he will work with me with the clothes to make sure that I can do that while still saying something about my character by what he puts me in.
Yes.
And the clothes end up being a representation of her being underestimated
Mhm.
because you take a look at her and she's wearing all these crazy colors and she looks like a big old pack of Smarties. And
Don't
and
judge a book by its cover,
exactly. And people and the criminals would be like, oh, she's just a crazy all over the place woman.
which can work to her benefit though
She
sometimes.
uses that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she dresses for her, because she loves to
Mhm.
express herself with her clothes.
Yes.
They make her feel good. They make her feel sunny
Yes.
and bright and excited to be presenting herself to the world. But she can also use it like a superhero cape.
As we continue though, Carrie, I'm curious when it comes to like rewinding right now to your career. I spoke to you. I'm from Chicago, my best friend's wedding. I know it's a
Oh,
smaller part, but that's such an iconic part with you two. I love you
oh,
guys so much in that. But
yeah.
also, True Blood. But mind you,
Yeah,
these were all supporting roles. They were great roles, but they were
sure.
supporting roles. And now you're leading on
Mhm.
Elsbeth as the title character. So have
Yeah.
you noticed that your perception towards the acting industry has changed at all since you've been able to take on this greater, more fulfilling three-dimensional role?
No, I feel like I approach it in the same way that I've approached any of the work. Like I don't think of myself as the lead. I think of myself as part of an ensemble
I like that.
where I'm given a lot of responsibility, but I approach it in the same way I approach all scene work. I make it about the other person. I make it about the other people. And I think Elsbeth does the same thing. It happens to line up in a great way. The character and the actor, our intentions are very similar. But I think that makes my experience feel, first of all, less stressful because I'm like, oh my God, if I start thinking, oh my God, I'm the lead, then I get overwhelmed and think I have to do a lot more or something is more expected of me instead of showing up, using my training, working with the incredible group of people that I get to work with, and everybody bringing their best creative self forward with the common goal of making something great. That's it.
I love that.
Maybe we do sometimes, maybe we don't, maybe we fall short, but we're always with that common goal. So that's how I try to approach it. Am I grateful that I'm a lead? Of course, it's amazing. Did
Sure.
I did I ever expect that would happen? Not really. Did I want it to? Yes, but I was happy being a supporting player and you know, will continue to do so in addition to this if I'm lucky.
I love that. It sounds like a great mindset. So you have a great mindset there, Carrie. I love that.
I try to, I've been doing this a long time,
I
so
know you have. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But,
I don't.
to piggyback off what you talked about earlier, why do you feel that audiences continue to tune in and be intrigued by this Elsbeth story, 3 seasons in, with her
Yeah.
unconventional yet chipper ways that she solves crime?
Yeah, I think it's infectious. I think her energy is infectious. I think people love to they're first of all, I think they're surprised by her. I try to make sure, and the writers do too, that we aren't predictable. Maybe you'll think that she's going to solve it in this scene, and maybe she doesn't. She'll approach it. She's always like, I'm always leaning into frame. I mean, that's pretty metaphoric too,
Yeah.
coming at it from a different angle. And so I think people like that. I think also there's something that I think relaxes people when they already know who the killer is.
Hmm.
They're not stressed
Yes.
watching the show.
Dramatic
They're,
irony.
they're just like, hey, we
Yeah.
know we're ahead of her.
Hmm.
How is she going to, put the pieces together? And I think they find that, satisfying. There's something cathartic about that, I think, for the audience. And I think there's always that one clue that Elsbeth knows that they don't. And so they want to wait to see what that is. And,
Yeah.
oh, I see. It's the DNA on the blah, 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 or whatever it is, that she, puts together. And the writers are so creative about what they have that little clue be.
Absolutely. I'm curious though, playful question for you, Carrie. Do you feel that you would be friends with Elsbeth? Have you living in the same world together, or are you guys not the same vibe? What do you think?
Oh no, I definitely would want to hang out with her. I think she would delight me.
Yep.
And I think she would probably want to know what I was thinking. Like, but she's like that with everybody, and that's what's so great about the character is that she's fascinated by everybody. The guy in the mailroom, the captain. They're all like the same, just human nature.
Mhm.
Um, Also, she's a dog person. I'm a dog person. I think we would
Same.
get along in that way too.
I love that. When it comes to though, like working on these cases, you have all of these different, legal cases, legal jargon that you've had to learn over the years,
Oh,
everything.
yeah.
Have you noticed over this time on Elsbeth that you have a different appreciation or even a slight annoyance now towards the real world legal system, law enforcement? Where do you see yourself after all that you immerse yourself in as an actor?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I do learn a lot about, well, definitely during Good Wife and Good Fight, the legalese that I had to speak trippingly off the tongue was in a lot of ways more challenging than all of the exposition that I have to do on Elsbeth. It was sometimes it was really like learning another language,
I'm
you know
sure.
what I mean? So I did grow to appreciate what a good lawyer can do. And I'm certainly happy that I'm on a show whereby justice is being served pretty much every episode. I think, people are doubting our legal system now, and for many reasons. And so I think it's great to be putting something like that out in the world where people who think they can get away with murder don't.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It kind of gives optimism and,
Yeah.
the good will defeat evil we always hope for.
We do hope for that. And if we
Yes.
don't feel like we're getting that in our real lives and in the world today, I think that's what art is about. And
Mhm.
it can be a place that people can go where they can feel like they're getting that and they can feel like there is hope. And that's, I think, what, any creator, art, visual artist, musician, uh, people who make TV, people who do theater, all of that. That's, I think, the common kind of goal is
Yeah.
to, create work where people can go to have, an escape or to learn something, or take something away or go to sleep at night and feel okay about something or
Yes.
see their experiences reflected. And I
Yeah.
feel like we try to do all that, but in a very light way.
No, we are very grateful for the messaging of Elsbeth, so we appreciate you
Of course.
guys. Last two questions for you. You already have been renewed for season 4. Congratulations.
You.
So, without spoiling anything that you're talking about yet, what aspects of Elsbeth that we maybe haven't seen yet are you eager to explore maybe next season?
Right. Well, I know we've seen her, in relationships with men. And I like that, but I also like the idea that she doesn't need a man.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And like that some of the messaging that we're putting out is, a woman of a certain age who's reinventing herself can do it and
Yes.
be okay with it. And that her relationship is with her work, first and foremost. Yes, her son, of course, but her primary relationship is with her work. And I think that's a great message,
Yes.
and so I hope that
Yeah.
we'll dig into that. And I like it that we've been able to, have the romance without having it be the primary focus.
I
And
agree.
I like for us to, continue doing that. As far as like cases and stuff, I put myself in the hands of our great writers. I
Sure.
never would have thought that Elsbeth would go to a ballet class with a bunch of 6-year-olds, but she did. So I'm just like, bring more of that. I'm like all about putting Elsbeth in crazy, because I will, if I walk into a room, the set dressing and the production designer, they always like try to figure out what I'm going to pick up first, because
Mhm.
I just always, want to interact. I'm almost like a puppy.
I love that. You like to play.
I like to play, and I'm curious that way, and so is the character. So I hope that we'll continue to do more of that.
Absolutely. My last question for you, Carrie, is a signature question I love to ask actors, and I'm so, so excited to ask this to you finally. So,
Okay.
if you, Carrie, could speak to Elsbeth after embodying her over these many years so far, and could give
Uh-huh.
her advice, a warning, or a comforting message, what would you love to tell her if only you could?
Oh, I would love to tell Elsbeth, don't worry so much about what other people are thinking. I know that you get worried and then it keeps you up at night, but you are doing great. You've got the right attitude, you've got the right motive in life. Just trust that. And if someone doesn't get it, don't go to
Not
sleep
your
thinking that,
problem.
that you did something wrong. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Amen, sister. I appreciate those words of wisdom too, Carrie.
Okay, good.
Well, congrats on everything. Again, I'm Jeff. Thank you for making the time. I look forward to sharing this Awards Watch piece with you. I hope
Thank
you're
you.
staying well and just keep up the great work. We'll be watching and cheering you on.
Yay. I'm glad you love the show, and thanks for all of your support.
Of course. Thanks, Carrie. Appreciate
Okay.
you.